Also, defensively, I wanted to ask you, you pre-NBA, when you were in the NBA and post, how much of the time with the NBA influence some of the stuff you do defensively now? Did it open your eyes differently seeing things, or did you sort of not come out of it with a lot of changes from maybe what you did before you went into the NBA?
I would say the NBA opened me up to other ideas. Um, One of my first days in San Antonio with the Spurs, the day I flew into San Antonio, Pop picked me up at the airport. Um, uh, I had a job with the Spurs, so I had to go down to baggage claim. And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, by the way, we got to hurry back because we've got shoot around because we're playing the Pacers tonight. And then when the game's over, we're going to fly to Phoenix." So that was all within me getting off the plane. But when I got to the gym that day, Mike Budenhauser had the scout, and they were playing the Pacers, and that was an eye-opening experience for me because my assistants always did the scout, but we guarded pick and rolls this way, we did this way. We were successful in what we were doing, but they prepared that game to guard the pick and roll on the side differently than they did the middle. And then if it was in the slots, it was different than they did in the middle and the side. And I was just standing there mesmerized. I said, wow, it's pretty good, pretty good. And then the game that night, as I sat behind the bench and I was watching, they had a coverage called center field where Tim would, and they were very specific in how far he wanted to drop behind the screen. And then I was in Canada coaching the Canadian senior national team with Jay Triano. And I started seeing how a lot of the international coaches were doing it. So between coaching the NBA and coaching international basketball, I just got my eyes opened up on a lot of things. And I said, this is such a blessing for me to be able to learn. And I had a little composition notebook. I'd write stuff in and make notes. And one of these days I'm going to find that book because that's where I put all my ideas. And they don't always work, but I think coming back to college after leaving college, I was a lot more flexible and I had a lot more fun doing it because I had seen so many different ways, and you take a little bit here, a little bit there. I still believed in certain things that we had always done defensively. And I just kind of put them in a bowl and mixed them up and said, okay, we're going to do this. So we don't always guard. Like against BYU, we had to adjust during that game. We started off in a certain coverage and they were killing us in a certain area. So I didn't even call timeout. We have a call for our coverages. So I'd flash what coverage I want us to be in. And that buoyed us for a long time, kept us going. And then Coach Pope made another move and we had to go to something else. But the good thing is we have multiple ways to defend coverages. They don't always work. To start the second half, Texas was chopping us up. But a lot of that wasn't necessarily the scheme. It was the attitude and the effort. When you combine scheme, attitude, and effort, that's when you got something special. It doesn't matter what your scheme is. There's some really smart guys out there that way smarter than I that can do stuff, but their kids don't play very hard. It all comes back down to attitude and effort that makes your scheme work. The scheme doesn't make the attitude and effort. It's the other way around. And then I'm probably more apt to watch a NBA game than I am a college game. It's hard for me to watch a college game for more than 10 minutes. But I like to watch NBA games for this reason. Like when we designed the second floor here with all of our renovations, I did that where I tried to stay up to date because of what LSU football, Clemson football, Alabama football, Georgia football, some of the NFL stuff. look, Lauren and I are constantly looking at what other teams are doing. Because, we like to steal their ideas. Well, I like to steal NBA guys' ideas. I know when the timeouts are coming, I like to see what they're running out of their timeouts. What's the first play of the third quarter? Last 2 minutes of the game, the ball's inbounded on the side. What are they running? I like to see if there's ideas. I just love learning from the NBA, especially certain coaches that just keep you current. And I've been doing this a long time. Have no idea how much longer. I'll do it, but I still like learning. It's the thing that probably gets me excited more than anything else. It's just learning from other people.